Welcome to day 14, 2 weeks into the challenge of following Alex Hormozi's advice until I achieve $1 and then 10xing that to 100,000 and keep going. We are currently at the $100 mark, which I hope to achieve by end of day. How I'm gonna do that is gonna be through brute force of virtual door knocking, which is going into the DMs. I have high hopes for today as I actually got up, and I didn't stay up, but I got up around 4:30 and I had this glimmer of a spark, which was, should I just get up right now and start my day? I didn't have the infrastructure of like a routine at that time. Today is earlier than most days, but that gave me hope that I could go to bed earlier and earlier until I could start getting up at times like 4:35, somewhere around that range, beating the sun. With that being said, let us begin a day of productivity. Let's get going. So about 2 hours into my day, and I've gotten some things done, a lot of messages handled, as well as watched a full video about a cool new tool that could help me create deeper connections in the follow-up with my clients. As I tend to make videos to them, this will help me to track those views as well as see the analytics behind what they liked about it, as well as give them immediate access to certain links that I'd like them to dive deeper into. So that was quite helpful, working to become more efficient as opposed to just hard work alone. Outside of that, I'm working on making sure that I fill the $100 challenge, and I'm trying to come up with a craft of my messaging of a month-long mentorship around content creation for those that may be beginning their journey and helping them get off the ground. And so looking forward to getting this out there. I'm going to be using one of the techniques of Alex's philosophy, which is outreaches. Once I craft out the message, I'm going to be sending that out to as many people, up to 100 if necessary, until I secure this. And I have a great angle that I want to start the fresh of the month, the first, tomorrow. So it is amazing urgency to say I need to close this by end of day. We start tomorrow. Do you want to be that key individual that I hyper focus on? Other than that, I'm working on creating and posting more short form content on a regular basis, like every few hours, posting something in the ocean of my phone gallery, as well as working on longer term things such as setting up my school community, learning what value I should be adding in there. So this is just getting warmed up, but I'm liking where this is going. Let's continue. Got back from the salon where I was overdue for some much needed grooming from like 2 weeks ago. But having that handled, now I can dive deeper into this challenge. And I watched a video called 4 Perspective Shifts That Keep Me Going, where Alex talks about how he has been able to persist through decades, whereas other entrepreneurs, including a time where his wife mentioned to him after having a $4.4 million month that she was completely drained and wanting to just stop all of this. These were the perspective shifts that he implemented, because in the game of business, the longer you can play the game, the more likely you are to succeed at it. So the first one, he talks about 1000x negative perspective visualization. At first, I thought it was making a bad situation 1,000 times worse to gain perspective. But then as he talked more, I realized it was actually a different concept, one that is even more useful, and it's hard to visualize 1,000 times worse of a situation. We know worse, but that deep of bad, there's only one thing, which is like the end of it all. But he talks about 1,000 iterations or 1,000 repeated occurrences of that same annoyance or negative thing. By the 1,000th time, you would have become desensitized to it. And if you could become desensitized to it by the 1,000th time, then you could also become desensitized to it on the first occurrence if you just have perspective that, oh, I would have become desensitized through a lot more exposure of this, but I can just give myself that perspective shift, and then you can come to the present with that depth of, okay, like imagining this happens every minute of every hour of every day. It's like breathing at that point. So that was a very powerful shift in seeing something bad that happens and not acting or reacting to it. Secondly, expecting the worst of a new venture as opposed to thinking nothing bad will happen. When you start a new journey like this challenge, it's unrealistic to imagine everything's going to be flawless, no missed days, no falling off the challenge or difficulties. But indeed, we will face those difficulties, and that's the point of it. Going into it with a much more realistic perspective, or even more dramatic, imagining everything going bad and having days where things aren't that bad is a blessing, is a bonus, but it gives you the right mindset with which to approach the task, as opposed to thinking nothing out of the ordinary will happen. And third, you can imagine the worst case scenario and use that as a pain point anchor so that you can bring yourself to the present to say, thankfully, it's not as bad as it said. It can always be worse. And the fourth, which is actually something I've been utilizing myself, and I didn't know how much Alex also, this is his favorite method. He talks about the universe, and that over a vast amount of time, everything will turn to dust. And this gives him the ability to ascribe meaning to whatever he wants, because in the grand scope of things, meaning may not come from out there in a universe that started as dust and will end back at stardust. In a similar way, I have also had the perspective that meaning comes from within, and this is another great way of reiterating something that I used to tell myself, and I'm reminded of it now, which is that nothing will matter in 100 million years. And I say that to overcome fear or hesitation, or not trying for the big thing and not going to take the risks, and going for it all with this mentality. And I want to end with this long paragraph that I wrote, that these have helped Alex in the game of business to go for the long haul, because nothing has meaning except for what he chooses to give meaning, and that makes the playing the game of life and business something that he can derive meaning from. And this is a really beautiful perspective to say that our art, our master life work is this of creating our message and knowing that it will persist. And one final tidbit that I wrote to myself is that our content will outlast us. So think of this as the closest thing that we will have to legacy that will be well preserved. Our kids may distort our beliefs, they'll have their own set of beliefs, but your content from you, from your perspective, from your journey, will be 100% authentic to who you were and what you stood for. And maybe even beyond your lifetime, there will be others that resonate with something that you said. As we study the great philosophers now and the great entrepreneurs of the past, and gain wisdom and perspective through their life experience of what was caught of their journey. And so with that, we can find meaning in the day-to-day work we do today, knowing that it is something we decide to put meaning into. With that, heading to the gym for back day and then back to work. 6:19 p.m. just got back from hitting chest day, and while I was in the midst of my workout, maybe due to a combination of being in that state of mind of pushing my body, as well as my screensaver of Alex in all of his muscles on a private jet working on his phone, it made me realize how much I have to approach my work session as I do my workout session. As we roll up to the gym, which is like a 10-12 minute car ride, I start getting into the frame of mind of pushing and like getting into that frame of mind that I will need to focus and concentrate and get some results from there. It's not just that I go there without any plan or don't have a specific routine of push-pull legs, trainer with proper sets and reps and progressions. And in a similar way, I need to bring that regiment and that sort of frame to my work session to get the most output. And I know right now it's been kind of all over the place, and I'm trying to clock in the minutes and hours to first put in the quantity to start elevating the quality. But I do want to start concentrating on what I get out of these hours, and eventually, as I progress to dialing this in more, I'll get several days worth of current output in a single work day. And then eventually 1 week of output can be done in a single focused session of work, and I can have multiple sessions in a day. So these are the definitions of doing the proper work that Alex talks about, which comes down to the volume times the leverage and knowing what to work on that produces results. And so those are some of the realizations I had while working out, mostly because I wasn't on my phone, allowed my subconscious to marinate on all these other elements of work that is happening behind the scenes, and wanting to make something out of this journey because I do want to be proud of the week by week progression of what I'm doing publicly, and I wanted to be able to look back at day one, week one, month one, say, wow, I can't believe that's how bad things were and how chaotic things were, and be able to get into these flow states of dialing in my workflow and really enjoying and looking forward to it, and having the confidence in my own skills, my own work ethic, and doing something that is a superpower in our modern day distracted world, which is to focus, which is to have tremendous output in a single hour or per hour, having systems in place and having scalability and all these other elements that we are not at the mercy of our hours to effort. We can produce results in a astronomical amount of volume. So it's with that I rushed home without going to the sauna or cold plunge or even coming home to take a shower. I just want to dive into my work, which I will do right after dinner, so that I can start digesting this and not have to go to bed with a full belly, which should help me to sleep deeper and get more rest so I can wake up earlier. And tomorrow's going to be the first full day of not needing to go anywhere but the gym. So it's with that I dive into dinner and the final work session of that day. It is currently 8:27 p.m. where I have clocked in 4 hours and 17 minutes and counting as of right now, and I am in the midst of possibly closing my $100 challenge with an offer that I made to someone who I can genuinely help. He is currently working and trying to build his online portfolio, doesn't have a YouTube channel, doesn't post much on Instagram or Facebook. And I can resonate because he's putting in the effort to connect me to something that will earn him commissions. And I said, hey, like, you can do this in a lot bigger, better way, more efficient, with more leverage. And sure, I'll look into what you have to offer, but I think I can also be of help to you. He saw my video that I posted on my YouTube channel and in the Telegram group, but he did not take action, maybe because he thought it might be not specifically for his avatar. I'm currently going to prayer. Please, I will send it right away when I'm back. So we are on standby for what could be closing of the $100 mark on this challenge. But more than that, I look forward to starting the journey with him from tomorrow, to work with him on a daily basis for the full month. I mean, it's insane that I'm offering such in-depth, hands-on, like, being present. It's not even about the $100, which is like doing pro bono work. It's more so of me getting to practice my mentoring skills and learning a lot myself through a third-party perspective of seeing, you know, it's easier to give advice than to follow. And as I guide, I will also be looking at how I can improve the whole system for not just him, but in the future, maybe others, as well as adopt more lessons that I can implement so that I can be a better guide to others. So let's see. I have been putting in the effort since I got back from the gym, connecting with several people to see if they're appropriate for the offer. Some, I think, they're just not used to such a arrangement. And of course, in the future, I would like people to see the value, obviously, through a lot of demonstration of my own results and my own online presence, which I think I've done somewhat of something in our space. I can't say I've done significant in the content creation space in general, but in our space where people just tend to be in the inboxes and not really putting much of their content, their voice, their enthusiasm out there. I have flown out to meet with companies, do interviews. I've kind of been complimented as well as known for the one who makes the effort to go and sit down with significant individuals of our industry to get their story and the company stories and bring something to everyone's viewing. So it's in light of that I think I can be of help to some people that are starting out on the journey. But of course, I have a lot to learn myself. So let us see. I already gave him my crypto deposit address. This would be remarkable to close out the second week. Literally today is the 14th day with the completion of the first of these 3 10xings, from $1 to 10 to now 100. And if I can close that out, then I can start June 1st with the mission of helping this guy start to create a brand and his persona, his image, and his storytelling online. And then I can also look towards the next 10x North Star of how to possibly get to $1,000 following Alex Hormozi's advice. This has been quite a revelation of effort equals results, and life responds to effort. So it's with that, I'm gonna try to head to bed early so that I can start tomorrow earlier, but things are picking up gradually, but it's not giving up is actually the key here, because it's been a lot of slow days. And whereas like there was temptations to throw in the towel, I was like, just persist. And these will be amazing to look back at in the distance. And this is baby steps, but nevertheless, the steps are required to get to those higher levels. So I'll end with a quote that says, you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to start to get great. So with that, we persist on. Peace. Congratulations, my friend. Very proud of you for taking action and looking forward to starting our journey tomorrow as we are going to start learning some new skills that are going to help you boost up anything that you do. And these are the same skills that have over the past 10, 12 years helped me to build an international audience as well as touch not just hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, and to live a life that I could not imagine 12 years ago, back in 2013 when I dropped out of medical school. So looking forward to us starting our journey, and again, proud of you for taking action more than just thinking about it. You are a go-getter. That right there was the real-time voice note that I sent back to someone who has taken action on my $100 month-long mentorship offer that begins tomorrow, the 1st of June. And I was in bed, phone was on airplane mode. I just was tossing and turning and got up to just turn it off and see that indeed the $100 payment was made, landed in my wallet. Extremely grateful and proud to continue to broadcast this journey with you as you're seeing what it takes behind the scenes for me to cross these little mountains of $1, $10, now having crossed $100. And from tomorrow, we get to not only work with this amazing action taker, but also set our sights to how we can create 10x more than this $100. And it's in creative ways that I'm thinking about how we can tap into this new economy and new ways that I can add value to my audience that I previously did not explore. And this challenge is forcing me to think about things differently and level up myself, my own skills, my own wings to have confidence in and not the branch that I'm sitting on. And it's with that, I bid you officially good night, ending day 14, having checked off the $100 mark and beginning the journey to the next milestone of $1,000. Stay tuned as we continue this journey of following Alex Hormozi's advice until wherever it may take us. Good night.